Hi, I'm Poppy of Poppy Pickles Yoga. So today we're going to do some poses to address stiff hips, and we're going to do seated poses. So we've focused quite a lot on standing poses so far in the videos, but there's a lot you can do sitting down. So I've set up for the first pose, just a reminder that this is a home practice video. So I'm going to be practicing as I would, but you may well need to use more height, or if you've got knee issues, you need to maybe sit on more height for that. So bear that in mind throughout. Okay, but let's start. So I'm going to start with Adho Mukha Swastikasana. So this is, I'm going to have my legs crossed. Okay. And I'm going to place the bolster right onto the heels. Okay, and you can adjust the blocks. Actually, I'll take another blanket while I'm here. So a blanket for the head. Okay, and then I'm going to bring my trunk over the bolster and rest the head on the blanket. So you can feel this stretching out the glutes and the back of the hips here. Okay, so you can start by getting some length in the front body, and then you can just interlock the fingers and rest the hands. This is a very happy pose for me, and it's a good one for if you're feeling nauseous or tired. I would aim to stay in this pose for about 2 minutes on each side. And then come up, change the cross in the legs. So as I said, you might want to have this bolster propped up on a chair. You want to feel that you can get the whole of the front body to lengthen over your support. And if it's uncomfortable to have your head resting forwards, you can turn the head sideways, but just make sure you switch the direction your head is facing halfway through. Lift the head, come up, and then just stretch the legs out in front of you. Okay, so I'm going to move the supports out the way. And the next pose we're going to do is a version of Ardha Matsyendrasana. Okay, so you can sit on a couple of blankets for this one. start in Dandasana. We're going to bend one leg up into Virasana. Okay, and then I'm going to move my support over to my other buttock. Now if you've got a knee problem, you can stay with this leg out straight. Okay, the other leg bends up. Okay, and you see if you can bring that heel towards the opposite hip. Okay, press down through the inner edge of that bent leg foot. Lift the chest and turn. So if you've got your period, you turn on the inside or just stay holding the knee. If you've got the turn, you can see if you can get the outer elbow to the outer knee. Use the breath to turn a bit more. Come back to the centre. Yep, so if you had a knee problem, you'd kept that leg out straight, bend the leg up, and then you can still get the same effect on that bent leg, top leg knee. Okay, other side. Taking the foot across. So we just want to make sure that the lower back hasn't dropped when we bring this leg in. So I'm using the hands to lift the chest, lift the back, turn towards the bent leg. So the outer buttock presses down, and then I turn a bit more. If you feel that this shoulder is dropping or closing when you bring the elbow over, stay holding the knee. Yeah, better to keep that spread there than feel that you close up in the pose. So it's your practice, yeah, your chance to explore how the poses affect your body. Stretch the legs out. And we'll sit for a moment in Dandasana. So like Tadasana for the standing poses, Dandasana, it can be done with the feet together, classical, or if you've got any hip or back issues, good to keep the feet slightly apart, and then you can work towards bringing the feet together. Okay, the next pose, you might want to keep the height. We're going to go for Bharadvajasana. Okay, so we'll bend the legs up. And the simplest way to explain this is you have your legs bent up first of all. We will take the feet to the left. So you take your right foot underneath. Again, you shift over a little bit. And then the top leg is like a Virasana leg. Fold it up, top of the ankle, rest on the arch of the bottom foot. Make sure that you're not tipping onto your bottom buttock, that you can press down through the left sitting bone. Okay, so Bharadvajasana. This is a classic seated twist. If you find it helps, you can stretch the arms up first. Make sure both sides of the body lengthening evenly. Turn to the right. Bring the hands down. So at this point, you might need to have a brick behind. If you're up on more height, you can take a brick behind. If you can reach the floor, go to the floor. So don't hold the breath. Turn towards the right. You can take the head if it turns easily. And then slowly return back to face the front. Okay, we'll bend the legs up the other way now. But in the middle, we'll come back to Dandasana. So really stretch the backs of the legs out before we go to the other side. Bending the legs up. Take the left foot under, right leg on top. Knees in line with the hips. The knees can be apart. Okay. Urdhva Hastasana. Turn on an exhalation. Bring the hands down, use the brick if you need to. So focus on turning. Use the breath to twist. Use the hands to help the body to get that turn. Try not to just turn the head, but turn the whole of the breastbone, the waist and the abdomen. Back to the centre and stretch the legs out. So this pose can also be done on a bolster, and if you have knee problems that mean you can't really bend the knees up, you can do it on a chair. So chair Bharadvajasana, we do a lot in yoga. It's a really useful pose. So just sitting on a chair, legs at right angles, and then turning as we have done. Okay, so from Bharadvajasana, we're going to go to Parshva Virasana. So again, I'm going to stay on height. Okay, but I'm going to start from kneeling up. So if you have a knee problem, again, you can go to a bolster. You can have as much height as you need. I'm going to use 2 blankets today. So the knees are slightly apart, but my feet are wider than my knees. And you want to make sure that you're on the centre of the front of the foot. Okay, calf muscles move out of the way and sit between your heels. If you can reach the heels, press down on the heels, roll the shoulders back, lift the chest. This is Virasana or hero pose. Interlock the fingers, rotate the palms. This is Parvatasana in Virasana. Release and change the interlock. So you can do thumbs together, move the fingers along one. Okay, so now my left little finger is at the bottom. Bring the arms down. Okay, we're going to add in a twist, Parshva Virasana. So again, turning to the right first. Okay. So this is now the 3rd twist we've done. Each one will feel slightly different on the body. Yep, a little bit more or less movement. So feel what this twist feels like. Turning to the right. Get the movement right from the lower abdomen. Not as much movement in the hips in this one. Come back to the centre. And then to the other side. So you can do it with either the back of the hand or the palm to the outer calf, whichever you feel gives you more purchase. We tend to turn the hand to get the outer upper arm to roll out. So if you feel like this shoulder's coming forwards, try with the back of the hand, and then you can turn the hand to get a bit more purchase. Back to the centre and into Dandasana. Good. Okay, we're going to go now into Upavista Konasana, which is legs wide apart pose. So you may well find you can come down a bit. I'm going to do without my blankets for this one, but take height if you need it. Okay. So if you're more experienced, yeah, that's one way to come into Upavista Konasana. Otherwise, take one leg, then the other. Right, if you find that one hip is your stiffer one, bring the other leg back so it's closer. Once the legs are apart, feel what's happening to the body. Are you leaning back? In which case, get your support. Are you dropping forwards? So that's more for over-flexible people. Come onto the centre of the sitting bones, press the root of the thighs down. Try and come right over the centre of the pelvic floor. Okay, so press the fingertips down, lift the chest. So to get the work into the outer hips, you can take a belt if you've got one, but otherwise you can do the work without. You can press the heels down into the mat, but feel as if you're trying to push the heels out, but don't actually move them. So it's not about just moving the heels. You're pushing the heels down. Feel as if you're pushing the heels out against the wall maybe, yeah, and feel how that draws the hips in. So just stay doing that for 10 seconds. And then relax. Stay in Upavista Konasana. Okay, see if you can go a little bit wider by moving the buttock bones forwards. Okay, and then again we'll repeat that feeling of hitting the heels out. And relax. Okay, lean back. Bring the legs together. Okay. Our last seated pose, and we're going to come back onto height for this one, is Baddha Konasana. Okay. So if you didn't get a belt for the last pose, have a belt handy now. Okay. So this is another bent leg pose. So if you do need some more height, take it. I'm sitting on 2 blankets today. I've had a very slight niggle in my outer right knee, so better to be more cautious, especially when it comes to knees. Okay, so you're going to take the legs, the knees out to the side. Okay, and bring the heels as close as you can in towards the buttocks. Take the belt, slide it under the little toe edge of the feet, and then shift the buttocks, if you can, closer to the heels. Okay, I'm going to hold the belt now, turn the palms to face forwards, and lift the chest. Okay, so if your knees are very high, you might want to take a little bit more support at this point. Yeah, press the heels together, lift the chest. So we'll just stay here. Drawing the little toes of the feet towards each other. Try to have the outer heels on the floor. The outer heels pressing together. But now can I lengthen the inner knees out to the side, extend the inner knees out to bring them a little bit closer to the floor. Okay, release for a moment. If you need to, just stretch the legs out in front of you. We'll just repeat that once more. So if you stretch the legs out, bring the legs in with the opposite leg. Place the belt. Connect the outer heels, little toe edge of the feet. See if you can come a little bit further forwards off your support. Can we get the knees closer to the floor? Lift the chest. So if you're super flexible, it's not just about pushing the knees down. We want to feel also that we're gripping the outer hips in with this action, like we did for Upavista Konasana. Release and stretch the legs out in front of you. Okay, so we're just going to sit in Dandasana for a moment, legs straight out, lift the chest, extend the inner heels away, draw the little toe edge towards the outer hips, allow the backs of the knees to spread, root of the thighs pressing down. So we just release and open the backs of the knees. Okay. And we can finish the session by coming back to Swastikasana. So feel now, we started with Swastikasana. You can adjust the height if you need to. Yeah. How do the hips feel in Swastikasana now? Are the knees going maybe a little bit lower? Just sitting up straight and tall. Change the cross in the legs. And then to finish the practice, do make sure you do a quick Shavasana. So these poses are to help with stiffness in the hips, but also stretch out the glutes as well and the groins. I hope you enjoyed the sequence, and do comment below what you found useful or not. Thank you very much.